of the speaker, which is why we approached her now. The referral to the panel would have been to the independent panel, correct?
Yes, I think so. Yeah, to my recollection, yes.
Yes. And then it says the timing and everything has got nothing to it only because of the different process now. In other words, you are not doing it because you are being charged, but you are doing it because of this process of the intended removal of the public protector, correct?
Chairperson, at that time, and unlike now that I know the different processes that led to where we are, my understanding of what was going to happen was not informed by my knowledge, because I didn't have any of the processes of Parliament. All I knew was that we are reporting to a portfolio committee, and that is the portfolio. That is a committee that will then hear whatever complaints there are, against the public protector, and eventually take action thereon. So my reference to that panel and the fact that I had bona fides in the speaker was based on that understanding.
Now, Mr. Samuel, don't dodge the question. Yeah, you're not a little child. So I'm saying to you, irrespective of what you're saying now, what comes out clearly of this is that the purpose, the reason why you came forward now was because of this process, which was the process initiated by Ms. Mazzoni, correct?
Yes, but I did not know that it was a process where which is this one, this committee. My understanding was that it was the portfolio committee. Yes.
No.
As confirmed by the letter the acknowledgement letter from the Speaker's office.
No, Mr. Samuel, now you're lying through your teeth. Your understanding was that is not going to be important. All right. Mr. Samuel, I was still saying that you are now actually contradicting yourself. I hope you had time to try and find a way out of this one while the chairperson and I were talking. So I'm going to give you ample opportunity, as they say, a long rope here. You said that your understanding was that it was not going to be the portfolio committee. Now you are saying your understanding was that it's going to be the portfolio committee. Which is the truth?
Chair, I said, and I think I said this even last week, I said if the allegation against me is that I'm lying under oath, I said I'm prepared to defend myself against that allegation. And to that extent, I really have no problem with anyone, including Advocate Mpofu, laying those charges against me so that I can then defend myself of those. But in this forum, I've also testified that my belief at the time, and this is what I was assured of when I was invited to answer questions, to answer them to the best of my ability. And my best ability is that, my recollection is that at the time I lodged the complaint, the affidavit, I was not familiar with the process that would unfold. I only limited my knowledge to the fact that we were reporting to the portfolio committee. And as to other processes that were going to follow, I have no knowledge of parliamentary processes. So that they were not in my mind at the time.
Okay. Mr. Samuel, okay. Firstly, no, it's not me who's going to lay charges against you. You've done nothing against me. It's the public protector and the people in Parliament, if they are so inclined. You remember when you started, there was a Miss Ibrahim who read your rights to you and told you that you must swear to God, if you don't tell the truth, you might be guilty of perjury.
I recall very well, and I take that very seriously, which is why I stood up to take the oath.
Yes,
that's how much respect I have to the process.
Yes, especially as a an officer of the court as you describe yourself?
Correct, yes.
Yes. Now I'm saying, and I'm trying to be fair to you, because as a lawyer, this might have far more serious implications than your criminal conviction of assault. I'm giving you an opportunity to come clean with us, Mr. Samuel. You've just the summary of what you've just told me now is that you knew that your complaint would go to the portfolio committee and you were not aware of any other processes of parliament, correct?
I have answered that question, Chair. I've said exactly that I was not familiar with parliamentary processes, and the only committee I knew was the portfolio committee.
Okay, so that's the only committee. Now it's very clear. So then when you were saying that there is now a different process that is going to be done by a different committee, that means different from the portfolio committee, correct?
My recollection is that, as I've said earlier, my recollection was that a different committee from the one that was in existence when we first went to the portfolio committee briefing with Advocate Mkhwebane in 2016, a week after she took office. It was composed of different members, and that to me was what I referred to.
Oh, I see. So we were talking about a different portfolio committee.
The name might have remained the same or perhaps even changed slightly, but yes, that's what I referred to as a different committee.
No, it's my mistake. So you were not referring to the one about the fitness for her office?
No, not at all.
Okay. No, I apologize. So then what did you mean later when you say that is going to be done by a different committee other than the panel that's going to determine the fitness to hold office? And I believe that in that process, I believe in the bona fides, of the speaker, and that is why I approached her now. And the timing has got nothing to it, only because of a different process now. Which process were you talking about?
My understanding, Chair, of the processes at the time were that the portfolio committee was going to be the committee sitting to determine whether there was a case against the public protector.
Yeah. Okay, Mr. Samuel. Sorry, finish your answer.
Yes, and from what I was hearing at the time, it was my understanding that then from there, the process would be referred to the National Assembly for a vote. I, at that stage, did not have any knowledge that this Section 194 committee was going to be set up. I believed that it was the portfolio committee that would have met as this committee.
So which process was going to be referred to the National Assembly for a vote?
The process of voting, to whether or not to remove her.
That's the process for her proposed removal, correct?
Yes, it is.
And that is the process that you are referring to at page 1, when you are saying the fact that the Speaker agreed to entertain a complaint lodged by one of the political parties, namely the DA in Parliament. That is the same process, correct?
Yes, that was my understanding, as in line with what I've answered about the portfolio committee.
Yes. So when you say you were thinking of a renamed portfolio committee, you are lying again, correct?
No, I'm not, Chair.
Mr. Samuel, please. Which one is the truth? Were you A, referring to a process unrelated to the removal of Advocate Mkhwebane, or B, referring to a process related to her removal initiated by the DA? Which one is the truth?
My understanding is that the process initiated by the DA was the same, process that was I'm talking about at the time was the same process that that would follow after looking at the complaints against the public protector. That would be the ultimate end, the result of what they would have followed from their investigation of the complaints.
Mr. Samuel, I think you must save yourself, because when you face a criminal trial for perjury, they might play this video. So I think I'll stop here so that you're not sentenced to a longer period in jail. Would you agree we should do that?
To the extent that I have answered your questions around this issue, yes, I agree. But I can't say anything more than what I have said. And so if perhaps, Chair, the implication or the suggestion from Advocate Mpofu for the public protector is that this information or this evidence that I'm giving you is going to be used against me in the criminal court when I'm charged. I'm ready for that. I don't have any issue with it being used there.